Okay. Oh, we're live. Hold on a second. Okay. Hold on. All right. So we had a request for a topic tonight. Well, first of all, Chris may not be here. She's running late. She's in a dead zone. And Denise, of course, is still in Greece, I believe.
Yeah.
So we're cutting Denise a little slack. Okay.
Yeah, because
Saving
that's
us from
awesome.
having to go there.
So the requested topic tonight has been on the importance of camaraderie, right? Why it's important to have friends within our own industry, really. Okay. I mean, because so we have here right now Angie and Michelle and myself, and there was a point in time that the three of us didn't know each other.
Mhm.
Right? We were total strangers to each other, and it's because one of us made that first move to say, "Hey, I'd like to talk to you,"
Mhm.
is started off created a friendship, and it really is as simple as that. So people that you see, I mean, this I guess there's almost two categories of camaraderie. Okay,
Mhm.
there's the other pet professionals in your area, and it doesn't have to be just other pet groomers. It can be the veterinarian, it can be the trainers, the pet sitters, you know. And then there's the people you don't see all the time, and that can be people that either online and or at trade shows. I mean, it's always been a thrill to meet someone who I consider a friend on Facebook and for the first time get to actually meet them in person.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, Michelle, what's been your experience?
Well, I am a tiny bit of a workaholic. And for the first 10 years that I went to trade shows, I worked a booth so hard that I never got any education. I didn't know anybody. They didn't know me. They knew of me, but they didn't know me. I seemed quite unapproachable. And I feel like I'm quirky and weird and fun. So I would talk to anyone, but I get so focused that I lose sight of people. Sometimes it happens, and so I finally started just coming out of my shell and saying, you know what, I can't. How can I agree with these people if they don't even know me? And I don't know them. So I think it, for Mary, it was one of the last times I was at Pasadena, and it was my last time that I actually had a seminar there. And she just came up to me. She actually took the first step, and she's like, you know what? I've seen this before. Every time I hear you, I learn something new, and da 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 da. And she just went on, and she made herself easy to talk to. And I came out of my shell, and I'm like, oh wow, this person's so friendly. I want to get to know her more. And here we are. And the same with Angie. I didn't meet you until I went to New Hampshire, even though I knew of you, and we had probably spoken before.
I actually met you the first time at the New England Trade Show.
Oh, it could be. It could be.
No, it definitely was.
Yeah.
Um,
Focused.
I talked to you, probably spent 45 minutes talking to you after your class.
Yeah.
And I brought receipts, I brought pictures, because I needed help
Yeah.
with a dog. And I'm like, and you're like, oh, okay. So, and in my notebook, I'm writing
Yeah,
everything
that's
down.
easy. Yeah.
And I went to the trade show and I bought everything you said. And then I did it. And it was a Pomeranian,
Mhm.
and he was bald. And then he was so fluffy. He was on a 2-week schedule because he was getting matted.
Mhm.
So he went from naked boy to his owner was like, oh my God, can I just like do him every 2 weeks? Is that okay? Because he was so much fuzz.
But this is my point. I'm so focused. I spent 45 minutes with you like I have many other people, and that's just you're in work mode. You're in work mode.
Yeah.
Until I went to New Hampshire and we just sat outside and shot the breeze and started really just talking about something outside work. Was I able to connect you? Oh, this is a friend. You know what I mean? It just takes me a minute. I'm not unpersonable, but it just takes me a minute to get to switch into, okay, this is fun and not work. So that's just my personal experience, but it's hard for me to make those connections because I am constantly working. My brain just goes in 58 different directions all at once all the time, and I can't. You need help with that? Okay, help. Okay, back on focus.
And I think that's a really good point too, because sometimes, I mean, I've always made it a habit to start up a conversation with classes that I am in with the instructor, right? Because obviously I'm taking the class for a reason, all right? And that things. And I can tell you, actually, the very first time I really met you, and you probably don't remember that too.
Not a chance.
All right, and it could have been the New England show, but it might have been either Intergroom or it might have been Hershey, because it could have been one of those three places. Only because Beth was with me. Beth is who I teach. I co-teach the Pet First Aid classes at the WPA and at Super Zone. And Beth was using the ISB products. All right. And she was, and this is long before I was like, even cared about skin and coat. Shell, I didn't care. Okay.
Oh, I've met a lot of people like that.
Well, because I did not realize just exactly how important it was.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is why I started taking, because I'm sitting there listening to you and Beth talk back and forth. Right. And I'm like just attended a class right now. So that was when the first time you and I met, but not like we had a conversation. I was like on the periphery. You and Beth were having a conversation. I would just happen to be there.
I think it's important to have camaraderie, because who wants to live like that? Who wants to be a part of an industry that everybody hates each other? If I wanted to do that, I'd become a lawyer. You know what I mean? Because if friendship didn't matter, what we do all day is care for dogs. We give our energy away. We pour ourselves out. We're very emotional, caring beings as a pet stylists in our industry. Why wouldn't we need that same thing with someone else? Hey, Brent.
And actually, Denise is here. It's 3 a.m. her time, and she's at the airport.
Oh,
So we're heading to the airport.
We're heading to the airport. Thank you, Brett. That was really nice. So taking the time out to have that conversation, and I think, I mean, we've talked about this before, and probably what was really the catalyst for you, me, Michelle, and myself working together was that she pulled me aside in Groom Expo and says, "You could have lunch with me," and that was it. It was like there's no other conversation. You will have lunch. Let's go. And I'm like, okay, I'm hungry. Haven't eaten.
I could eat.
Well, here's the thing too. In case you can't tell, I really do enjoy food. Okay, so the quickest way to my heart and to get my attention is to bring me food. Most of my clients understood that concept too.
The pork roast that we talked about earlier.
I met Mary at New England. That was the year that Spirit was all colored.
The Mardi Gras?
Um,
which coloring was he? Because he was several different colors.
Okay, when you did the positive ed colors all over, he was all different, like little bit pieces.
Little rainbow. Color. Okay, that was when he was rainbowed.
Yeah, and so I saw you going by, and I had just taken one of your classes. I think it was a customer service class.
Could be.
And it was either that or no, it wasn't cats. I think it was customer service. And so I was talking to Angie, my assistant, and I was like, "Oh, I really wanted to ask her about that." And I'm like, she's busy, because it was the she's one of the important people, and I don't want to bother her. And Angela's like, well, just go ask her. And I'm like, she's doing stuff. She's doing stuff. I'm not gonna bother her. And then I saw you again, and I was like, nah, screw it. I'm gonna go talk to her. And I did. And I went over and I asked if I could pet Spirit, and you said, of course. And he was like, yay. And so then I was petting him, and we were talking about the class, and that's how I initially met you. And then you had a cat class that I went to that was an in-person in Lowell.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Could be, right?
And
Could be,
and so then that's when we became Facebook friends, and then it just kind of went from there.
So, and I know this is Anita because she briefly met me and Chris at a Tacoma show, and then I agreed to come to her town for Pet First Day. That can only be Anita, and that was in Roseburg, Oregon. It's like, yeah, be careful when you talk to me. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
If you will attest to that. All right,
Facts. You end up with a to-do list. It's like, wait, what? How did I?
Yeah, meeting Mary is dangerous. I'll put that right out there. Meeting with her and having a direct conversation with her is so dangerous because you will leave and have a zillion things to do on your to-do list, and you'll have deadlines that she's going to call you on and call you out and make you accountable.
Okay.
Facts.
Okay, facts. Now here, Michelle, show us what you were showing before we started this to illustrate a point.
Yeah.
Look at the beautiful gold carabiner holder. 32 brilliant cards. I'm thinking of adding 3 more to the cat category, but here we are.
I rest my case. What can I say?
Tell us about those cards, Michelle, for those that don't know.
I've been wanting to do these for about 2.5, 3 years now. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm going to come out with some flashcards. Yeah, blah, 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 right? Last time I met up with Mary, had a little bit of an emotional breakdown. A little bit. I'm like, okay, I don't know how to do this. How do I do this and this and this and this and this all at the same time? I'm inundated. I'm overwhelmed. And she's like, okay, here's what we're going to do. And that was in Teton. And now I have a finished product. That's Mary.
So Michelle's we've been there, done that. Okay. But like I said, just be careful when talking to me.
Definitely talk to her if you want to get things done.
Oh, no.
Absolutely.
Talk to me.
Just know that you're going to come away with like a ranked list of things that you need to do.
Yeah.
And then about a week later, she's going to say, so how you doing on that list? How you doing on that list? Where are you now? Because I remember we discussed this. So what have you done so far? And she holds you accountable. And like, it's because of Mary's impetus that this book did my rabbit book, because we had bandied about, and I said, yeah, my brother said I should write a book, and she's like, why don't you? And I was like, well, and she's like, no, why don't you? And I was like, I don't know. And she's like, okay, so I'm going to send you a bunch of information, and this is how you go about it. And this is where and I'm going to hook you up with a layout person, and okay, go. And I'm like,
and you're sitting there with all these notes. You're like,
literally, these are Mary notes. Like, all of these are Mary notes. That's what this pile is. This is my list of shit that I have to do.
I got it myself.
Yeah. I am given by Mary to do the things. And then I just check them off because I have my list. And then she's like, so, and I'm like, no, I did the things.
No, she just sits there. Not
It
while
works
she
both
just sits
ways.
there. She's doing stuff too behind the scenes. No, she's no.
And that's the thing, is that it works both ways, because now my very good friend Amy calls me and she's like, "Oh, you're in a Mary mode. I see." Because she's like, "Because I just came away with a list of stuff to do." And but I also, we all do that to each other too. It's like,
Yes.
well, how you doing on
Yes.
this and how you doing on that, and hold each other accountable so that we do these things and we bandy ideas off each other. Like, I was thinking about this, but I don't know. And then it's like they help you fine tune it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's like, because it'll go from this to this, and it's like, ooh, this is really good.
Mhm.
How do I do this? And then you go into the segments of it. It's like, oh, well, that makes perfect sense and so
Mhm.
much better sense. And yeah, I'll get right on that.
Right. So, but the whole point of being friends, first of all, with people local to you. Okay.
Mhm.
There's lots. I mean, there's, oh my God, there's so many reasons for it. Okay. One is that keeps you abreast of what's going on in your town.
Mhm.
All right. Are things coming down the pike that might affect your business? You are more powerful as a group.
Mhm.
Excuse me. Want to not just as one person complaining about something, but when 6, 8, 10 businesses go into City Hall and saying, "Hey, what are you doing?" You have a little bit more weight, and it's why associations have power to them, right?
Mhm.
Um, I would love to see eventually at some point some sort of unions in the pet industry, because let me tell you how great unions can be. Yes, on one hand, sometimes they can be a little useless, but there's no power behind them.
Mhm.
But when a group of like-minded people are really motivated to make changes within their industry, they can be huge.
They're
It is the
more than the sum of their parts.
Yeah. It
Mhm.
is the reason why, as my husband's now retired since 2016, in the last contract before he retired, we get lifetime medical care. Now, I'm not talking Social Security, Medicare. I'm talking health insurance from Aetna or
Mhm.
whatever company that they're using, which is way better.
Yeah.
That is what happens when you get people together and they can make a huge difference. Right? So, first of all, how do you meet people? Okay. You're a new groomer, there's like 30 grooming shops in your area. So maybe a lot of areas do get-togethers. They do
Mhm.
lunches. All right. Back when I lived in Connecticut, every once in a while we'd all go to the Cracker Barrel that was just over the border in New York, and there'd be like 14 mobile grooming vans in the parking lot of this Cracker Barrel. All right, um, trading off customer information, um, problems. I mean, we were all mobile groomers, so things that were like mobile grooming related,
Mhm.
scheduling. What are you using for software? You know, and then fun stuff.
Mhm.
Oh, who's going to the next trade show? So, and being
I
able,
go there. I go to, I'm salon. So I go to other salons when they open, and I'm like, hi, I'm
Mhm.
the weirdo down the street. What are you taking? What are you not taking? What do you want me to send you? What do you don't not want me to send you? Um,
Mhm.
give me your list. Whatever it is, smalls, bigs, whatever.
Mhm.
You want more
Yeah, if
bath
you know you have
hours?
enough confidence and you go physically visit other people, and just send them your card, say, "Hey, I'm in town. If I can support you, I would love to support you. I'm needing help with this, this, and this. If there's anything I can assist you with, let me know. Let's roundtable it." I think that makes the work easier,
Yeah.
or at least makes it more enjoyable. It's not any easier, but it absolutely makes it more enjoyable.
And most of the time, it's really well received. Only once has it not been well received. But every other time, it was like, great, okay. And I'm friends with all the local groomers except one. And, we commit. It's like, hey, what software are you using? Where do you get health insurance?
Mhm.
How do you were talking about disability? I remember you said that. Where'd you get that all? From, is that for your staff? Is it for you? How do you, and it's like, well, the staff is workman's comp. I get that through here. Who are you using for payroll? Like all that kind of stuff. So it just, you can bounce ideas and stuff off of each other.
Mhm.
And it's good.
Right? And then there's also like the trade shows. Don't be afraid to say hi to somebody who either you sat in a class with. I can remember conversations back from literally my first trade show. And I may not remember the face, but I will remember the conversation.
Mhm.
And imagine a brand new groomer doesn't know a lot about different tools and stuff like that. And the conversation came up about because I was scissoring paw pads.
Mhm.
Okay. And they're like, oh, no, 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 honey, take your 40 blade and you go over that. This way you won't slice the paw pads. And I'm like, holy cow. And I wish I could like remember who that was and like thank them for that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to strike up a conversation with somebody.
Mhm.
And just because you think they are so far up the food chain that they won't talk to you, you know what? Yeah, there are some like that. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. But
Yeah.
predominantly, most people are looking for someone to talk to. I remember having a conversation with Suzeko. She and Jay were like somewhere like in England or Ireland or Australia, wherever they were. All right, and they were doing a class and they were having lunch, and her and Jay were sitting off to a table by themselves because everybody was afraid to sit next to them because it was Jay and Sue. And she's like, all we wanted was them to come sit with us.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So don't make that assumption.
Mhm. And
Yeah.
they could be very focused as well. Don't be afraid of stepping up. I welcome somebody to break my concentration because it hurts even me sometimes. I welcome it. And if you got a case, I'll help you with your case. If you just want to talk tools or talk shop, let's do that. I love talking to people. And you shouldn't be afraid to walk up to anybody because in doing so, if they do reject you, you just simply find the truth of them.
Yeah.
And that's all. And that's all. And then you're like, oh, okay, no help in that direction. And then you go on about your merry way. But we're mostly not like that. We would love to help you. We're there to help you because honestly, we're not making the big bucks when we're going to a trade show. So we want to be there. We enjoy helping you. We're there to teach. We're there to learn. We're
Yeah.
there to engage with you.
I love talking to my students after a class is done. It's my favorite part. I I wanted to know, what's your take on whatever it is. What do you want to know? And like at Atlanta Pet Fair, my class got out and I was going in to see Kayla
Right.
compete in the ring. And because I wanted to get some pictures of her and Gavin. Um, and that's her standard poodle. And wow. I mean, just wow. Um, so I got out of the class and some people had some questions. I was in the hallway for 2 hours. 2 hours. I got in, and Kayla's like, she won. So I was like, okay, I missed the entire crew, but I was okay with it because I saw the end, and it was gorgeous. And so, but connecting with the students, that's where I go. I
Mhm.
I love it. I mean, I love seeing my friends too, because I have so many friends that live, you know,
Mhm.
so far away. But connecting with the students and answering questions is just, it's fun. It's
Mhm.
just fun. And they were totally grossed out because it was I had taught a rabbit class, but the year prior I had taught salon sanitation down there, and they were asking me about my sanitation class from the year before because they had taken it the year before. And then they brought their staff thinking that I was going to teach it again. I did not. I was teaching rabbits this year. And so they were asking me all kinds of questions. And
just a note on that. This Monday is the Sanitation and Safety Summit, online summit for positive ed. And Angie will be doing her 5-hour class there. All right. Chris Anthony is doing something on ergonomics. Ashley Hanvey is doing hers on cleaning out the recirculators, which if you think Angie's class can get a little gross, she has nothing on Ashley. Nothing on Ashley. And I'm doing a planning for accidents workshops there. So that's this weekend. Well, weekend being Sunday, Monday for me. So, anywho, anything else before we wrap it up?
I don't think so. I'm so glad that I opened up and let you ladies in, and I'm so glad that you're my friends.
Yeah,
same.
I think my final thought on this particular topic is probably reach out, because I have learned that within our industry, each and every one of us has such a rich life experience. I know people who have flown planes, who have mucked stalls, who have gone to places and done things that I have never even thought about, just in the regular conversation. One of them used to be a lawyer. One of them used to be whatever. I'm like, wow, what drew you to dog grooming? And you know what? It's always the dogs.
It's that I have a new series on women petpreneurs where I'm interviewing groomers and some of the fun things that they do. All right. And like, holy cow. Some of you are all way more interesting than I am. I'm just
yeah, it's pretty cool to see some of the backgrounds that people have and where they came from. And even some of just like the hobbies and stuff they have. It's like, you what? You can do that? Like, okay, a friend of mine, Leslie Anthony, she like does 3D laser printing and makes like the most amazing things. And I'm like, how do you do this? What? And she's like, oh yeah, you know, and to her it's like no big deal. And I'm just like, do I want to spend $3,000 to learn that? No, no. Well, no. And
Facebook user, do not be jealous of me. Go do what you want to do. If you want to do the things I've done, talk to me. We'll talk. I'll give you a list and I'll hold you accountable.
She will too. She will. She totally will.
Go do it. Don't be jealous. Go do it.
Yeah. And so we have such a vast and diverse industry, and I just love it.
I love it. I love groomers. I love pet stylists. I love this industry. That will never go away. It's only gotten stronger as I've gone on to do whatever. I love this industry. Love it. And I love you. All you have to do is be a groomer, and I love you. That's all you have to do. Like, I adore you. I know your journey. We share an experience, and I love you so much.
Yeah, like Amy said, do all the things.
Do all of the things.
All the things. All the things.
All right. So we will be back, I believe, next week. Correct?
Yeah.
Yep. We'll be back next week. And then hopefully Denise will be here to make us all jealous of her trip to Greece.
She did it.
Only 7 weeks. 7 weeks to Groom Expo. 7 weeks.
Oh, hey, but Super Zoo is like around the corner, and All American is before that, and
it's a nuts. Y'all are old enough to remember that there used to only be like 1 or 2. Now we've got a bunch of them. There's no reason that you're not getting yourself educated. 0.
Fact, especially because it's also available online. By the way, if you haven't signed up for this lawn sanitation course, that is Sunday and Monday, please do so now, because it's worth it. And It is a PGC accredited course and worth PGC accreditation toward your professional groomer's credentialing. So,
Sweet.
Okay. And just to make note on that, unless you have a summit membership, once the summit on the last day of the summit, you can't buy it anymore. All right. Then you could only have access to it if you haven't already purchased it through a membership. Members have 6 weeks to watch. Individual purchase has 3 weeks to watch.
Mm-hmm.
so going, almost gone, folks.
All right. So we'll see everybody next week. And oh, there he goes.